Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab. Well, I do what I do for you. I'll wrap this lesson up for you about the pharaohs right quick to show you the balance that they had and our ancient ancestors used Mayat all the way around the board, or across the board, excuse me. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thing is mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is way of life. Through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. In the words of my man Malcolm, by any means necessary. So I use every tool I got in my case, my arsenal, to get that point across where you can know thyself with the lessons I give you. So all you have to do is implement them. That's your job. I do mine, you do yours. Your goal is to know thyself. So I ask the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and thinks that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know, yeah, is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. I'm wrapping up the concept of the pharaoh. And the title is Right Thinkers. Let's talk about balance. The pharaoh could be male or female. Then we're going to go into the was or the waset. That's the emblem. Okay, I'll break that down for you when we get there. But I got a little paragraph or two to read about you to wrap this up about the pharaoh. Okay, and they show balance. When the matriarchal society, they was fair both ways. When the patriarchal society started, when the man took over, he blocked the woman out. This is why you can't have a woman preach. Really? I don't want that part. I just did the no, I saw the breakdown of the ankh and the cross. The difference between the two. The cross is all male. Death. Ankh, female, male, offspring. That's the key to life. Moving on. Just a little quick tidbit there. I like to throw them in when I can. So I like to get a little knowledge, little educational concepts so you can use it. So the pharaohs, back in the day, ancient, may be a man or a woman. Did you know that? It was not just a king or queen, but also an emperor. So you had total autonomy, you had total control. Okay? When we speak of the breakdown in the pharaonic role in the times when Egypt was what? Not completely overpowered. Watch how many people came and did what they did to us. We are only going to be speaking of the loss of pharaonic of the pharaonic role as a what emperor. What is this? And not necessarily total crash of the society. What you talk about? It would be like as if, okay, right now, if the president was to lose control or lose power temporarily of the country, but over some sections of the country, but government is set in place where the governors of said states or cities and states will remain in power, meaning the control will still be there, even though the president ain't. And later cooperated in what? and brought back order by how? Pooling resources such as personal and material in order to what? Rebuild the central government said place. This is what happened. Watch this. Here we go. Watch what happened during the invasions. That's what the S. This is plural. Okay, follow along. The invasions of the first one was called the Hyksos. Okay, they came in, and then the Assyrians and the Persians came in. These was all coming in to take over Egypt. Okay, now this was the first. This was the state of affairs when during the intermediate periods, where between the old and the middle kingdom periods and between the middle of the new kingdoms. Okay, I gave the breakdown back a while ago. But the ancient Egyptians were not, listen to this, strong enough to overcome what? The second Assyrian invasion. We fought them off the first time. They came back. We couldn't fight them off again. All right. We like that poor girl who just couldn't get them off and they just keep coming back and just taking what they wanted. So yeah, I hate that idea, but that's what happened conceptually. And watch this. And there was never a second opportunity to overthrow them. Why? Since Alexander Numbnuts came in and defeated them, supposedly for us, and then he took their place. So the Ptolemies came in. That's Cleopatra's people. Okay. So they was running Egypt for a while. Watch this. But there was still not enough strength. Okay. Remember, we ain't military strong. So it wasn't enough strength to what? Overcome even the Greeks. The same people we educated came back and enslaved us. Watch this. But the Greeks, but also they were lesser imperative, meaning they put easy on us by what? And since they upheld what? Our Egyptian culture and religion. They let us practice our religion since they knew it also since they got theirs from us. So thus, what happened? The Egyptian culture pretty much remained relatively intact when they was under the Ptolemy, aka Greeks, as compared, watch this, now you got another issue, to the conditions that was imposed on us by who? The Persians and Assyrians. So to us, the Greeks was a welcome breath of fresh air. Why? Because the Assyrians and the Persians was gripping us a new one. No regard for us. So the Greeks went a little easy on us. So we thought, okay, we rescued. Yeah, we back to normal. Well, guess what happened? Au contraire, mon frere. This condition would not last long. Why? Because the same remain the same. Those conditions won't last long. They wouldn't remain the same under the control of who? You ready? The Roman Christians. When they came in, and they were the last ones to invade Egypt. Watch this. They shut it down. And later, after them, the Arab Muslims, forgot about them guys, okay, who came from Asia Minor. They conquered Egypt and actively sought to stamp out the old religion. Nubia was the last place in ancient times where the Natarian religions were practiced. Why? Because they generally converted to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. That was about around 610, I think, was AD. But they had already sliced and diced the Egyptian, and only was left with the Nubians. And watch this. Now, when the Arabs, the Muslims came in to Egypt, they knew the God was Ra. Their God was Allah. They would put you down, head on the thing, with the sword, that big sword, and say, you want to meet your maker, Ra, or you want to worship Allah? If you said Ra, they cut your head off. He sent you to Ra. That was their concept. Now, Ra, I love you. Listen, that's a tough call. That's a tough call for anybody to make. And I say that because I ain't sure if I want to just see Ra that quick, but I guess if you're a devoted follower, that's what it's going to be like. But they were showing you that some of them went to Ra. Oh yeah. The Igbo tribe, quick lesson. When they got enslaved, they came and took them, enslaved them, so they slaved. When they brought them off the ship, every man, woman, and child walked straight to the water, drowned themselves collectively. One like no, everybody. They would rather die than be enslaved. A quick history about our people, Igbos. Google them. All right, now, excuse me. Oh, so the Nubians, watch this. The Nubians were slick. And living in the southern Egypt, they considered themselves, watch this, ethnically, we Nubians. Okay, yeah, all right. And at the same time, nationally, we Egyptians. But spiritually and religiously, they Muslims. They still living. If they chose Ra, they ain't gonna be in the worship. So that just makes sense. I might be down with the Nubians. Yeah, we Muslims. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. But that was the story of our ancient Egyptians who got taken over by different races and religious groups. So that was how it went down. Now I'm gonna wrap up with this quick one here with the wasp. The U and the W was pretty much synonymous. They spelled the W sound wasp or us. Okay. You see that stick? Okay. I'm gonna break that down for you right there in this lesson. That should be quick enough and get up out of here. I got something to do. Sorry, but I got some errands to run. All right, but right now, let's talk about the os or the was or the waset. Three are the most important symbols. I just gave a symbol breakdown, which Ptah is associated with. Remember him, self-created one? Okay. Us in the flesh, the breakdown of God, Amen, Ra, Ptah. Ptah is us in the flesh, masquerading as Haru. Okay, let's go. So these are emblems of Ptah. And break down for you right quick, hopefully, which are the was, the as, the ankh. You always see him with the ankh in his hand, and the jed. The jed is recognized as Osiris backbone, the jed pillar. And it was said when his casket rolled down the Nile, landed in Syria, and it turned into a tree, started growing out. So it had an aroma. The mayor came out, smelled it, had it cut down. So hence, that's what the jed means. This is the backbone of a saw. That's what it represents. The spinal cord, just like the 33 degrees in Masonic order, symbolically of the spinal cord. So that's what the jed pillar and the ankh we know is the key of life. I just told you, compared to the cross, we knew about the cross. It represents the four corners of the earth. North, east, south, and west. That's all he used it for. Why? We had the key to life. We knew we had that cross didn't mean nothing to us. So no disrespect, Christians, but we knew the key to life. We knew the ankh was the key to life. So moving on. And the wasp, I'm gonna break that down for you. The wasp scepter. Okay, it was a symbol of what? Power. He who carried that is the symbol of power and dominion, which many of the gods and the pharaohs may be seen holding. They all had their staff in the hand. In the other hand, they carried the ankh. So it is composed of what? A straight shaft with the head of a mythological animal associated with the god Set. Okay, that unusual dude with the box ears, that he's a mythological character, one of a kind, unique. He can't manufacture nothing. He can't create no offspring. Why? They made it that way purposely. Why? So, and Set, why? Who represents egoism. Again, we didn't need the devil. We had the ego. That's part of your personality. And you need to conquer him when, like the sun do, every day. Every day you rise, you got to conquer the ego. Watch this. That's the concept. But the ego, Set represents the ego. And he represents chaos, evil, and ignorance, as well as raw power and brute strength. He was a bad man. Okay? And they wanted to be that way. Why? Because it ain't easy. Goliath wasn't a little dude. He was there for a reason. Okay? Yet still, every aspect, every metaphorical concept that's in the Bible is not original. Story may be changed and dressed up a little bit, but it's still the same thing. I can give you a quick heads up. I studied every religion. They all profess the same thing. You just put it different, say it different. Okay, so I ain't beef for that no longer. I'm not here trying to tell you, I run. No, I ain't got time for that. I'm just trying to enlighten. So let me do my job right quick. Tell you about this. The wasp, watch this, was a symbol that represents the energy which engenders life. Your ego is powerful when this energy, watch this, is controlled. Ding, 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 ding. That energy, which is pretty sexual energy, lower nature, your ego knows that much, okay? They know how to reproduce, okay? That's the first thing. But when it's controlled by who? By your ignorant ego, your evil, negative activities, restlessness, agitation, and unrest are the result when the same energy is supplemented. When you ain't in control of that thing, these are all the things that you're going to go through. Your personality. Remember the two heads? Okay? That other head is the one down there. They just put it a little different, but that's the concept. Trust me. And when it's supplemented and controlled, what happens? Watch this. You have divine work can now be accomplished. Nothing get done, lower nature, except pleasure, carnal. We've been hearing that forever. What they call carnal, we call lower nature. Same thing. Same thing. Okay, so watch this. When you submit, control your lower nature, now your divine work, which is goodness, ascension, high consciousness, can be accomplished in what? In a most effective and exalted manner. You're starting to become your higher self if you practice this, aka daily. Thus, any beings, any being who holds the wasp is in what? Control of the source and the power of the soul. That means you got control over you. You don't run nothing outside of you for real. It's all self. You're Egypt. How about that? So it means having what? Dominion over what? One's desires of the flesh and passions, and being free from what? Delusions, and here you go, listen, ignorance as to one's true self. So what they're saying, you don't know yourself. Your set ego plan is you just knowing you, which is your lower self. Your higher self is divine, good, and it's going to ascend, not stay on this lower level, just being happy, doing this thing, taking worldly possessions, being caught up in this world. I showed you that nature, when you put spirit and nature or mortality together, nature is going to die. Okay, it's a process. She's coming back. It's going to be coming back. But if you get caught up in your lower nature, you're going to recycle just like nature. You're going to die and come back again. But if you ascend to your higher nature, you go that way. You don't come back. You don't go this way to reincarnate. That's the concept. I'm trying to break it down for you, and they're trying to make it simple for y'all. Ignorance means not knowing oneself. And that set, your ego is ignorant of itself. If you let him run the show, you're going to have a fettered filled life. We call it drama now. Same thing. Self-imposed problems. Side chick drama, cheating, carousing around, drama. That's all done by you. Transparency, no problem with all that nonsense. Okay, moving on. Now, in a historical and political or even exoteric sense, meaning just the layer, the top part, this implies what? Being the Pharaoh who resides in what? Waset. However, you ready? The esoteric, the hidden meaning, the real meaning, the esoteric symbolism implies that what? The possessor of the wasp is in what? Communion with his or her supreme ruler of their higher self, which is Waset, who is none other than who? Amun, the divine self. See? He's hidden. You have to find him. And only way you can find him is through gaining knowledge and conquering the ego self. You can't reach him until your ego is conquered and you ascend to the next level within yourself. Let me wrap this up for you. Hence, know thy. Amun is thy. How about that? I just come up with this concept. Yeah, okay, how about this? Thy is God. Who's God? Amun, the hidden one. God is hidden until what? You find him where? In yourself. Ding, 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 ding. That should be worth the prize of admission right there. That point should be clear to you. Let me wrap this lesson up. I just made my point, hopefully. And thus, the scepter is what? The emblem of Waset, as well as the head ornament of the goddess of the city itself, who was also known as Waset. Remember that? Thus, the Was or the Was may be considered as having a male aspect and a female aspect, but in a deeper esoteric sense, it represents the form of power, be it male or female. You want to control it. That means women got to control theirs and the men got to control theirs. That's a lesson. I hope you understood it. Hope I got my point across. In closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and be 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you have passed away. I'll be back. Oh, I'm not done. You know the deal.